My pranams to all Atmajyotis, divine light of the self. I welcome all of you for today's class on Manipura Chakra. What is this Manipura Chakra? We studied Muladhara and Swadhisthana. The Muladhara is the base chakra. Swadhisthana is the just above the base chakra. The Muladhara is, we have understood, Muladhara means support for the base. If body is the support for our base, our existence, then there is a fear. If Atma or Brahman is the support for our base, then there is a fear, no fear. So Muladhara, we understood. Swadhisthana also we understood. So if we are making body as the basis, then there is always fear in our life, and fear drives our activities. So then we have come to Swadhisthana. Swadhisthana is Swa Adhisthana, where I am established. Okay, so that where I am established, if I am established in my desires, then is always instability. Okay, if I am established in my own self, then there's a peace. Now we come to Manipura. What is the meaning of Manipura? Mani means jewel. Pura means city. A jewel in the city. What is this jewel? City is, the Pura in Sanskrit means city. We have heard Jagannath Puri, where Bhagavan Jagannath, Lord of the universe, Jagannath is there. Puri means city. This body is also considered as a city by ancient people, where Jiva resides. So the Manipura means the Jivatma, the self. What is Jivatma? We'll find out. So the operating center for Jivatma is the navel, our Nabi or navel area, because this is the area where action starts. The pranic energy starts moving. So that is called Manipura Chakra, Nabi. So what is this Pura? Pura, I said it's a body. Mani is the jewel in the body. What is the jewel in the body? Is Jiva. If there's no Jiva, the body is dead. So Jiva is Jiva plus Atma, Jiva Atma. Okay. The jewel in the body, if the body has to be alive, there's a jewel. Jewel means what is important, what is valuable. That valuable is Jiva. Okay. So the Jiva drives, the office of Jiva is the Nabi from navel center. It drives the whole body. So what is the importance of navel center? Nabi. The Nabi is when we eat food, it goes and gets digested there. The food is digested there. So the energy distribution for the whole body happens from the Nabi. When you breathe in, the air goes deep there, lungs. Energy from the air also goes into up all the way up to Nabi center. Then another important thing is there. The Nabi or navel center is how you were connected to your mother in the mother's womb. That's called Nabi. The child was connected to mother's womb, mother through the Nabi. All the energy for the child was supplied from that umbilical cord. So this center is our energy center. We have heard the word called fire in the belly. That means, what is the meaning of fire in the belly? That person has a fire in the belly. That means he is dynamic. He wants to do something. Activity. So this is the center which drives our life, is the drive. And where does our drive come from? So the drive for all of our life comes from four purusharthas, four motivations. What are the four purusharthas? Kama, Artha, Dharma, Moksha. Now there is a hierarchy here. The Kama or the desire is all above. Because of Kama there is Artha. Because of Kama there is Moksha. Because of the Kama there is Dharma. The Kama is desire. So that's why Sri Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, Dharma aviruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava. Kama means the desire. For all living beings, their motivation from the desire. Even moksha motivation also comes from desire. The desire for moksha is called mumukshatva. Desire for dharma also comes from desire. Kama or desire only drives dharma. Kama or desire only drives artha. So kama is the basic fundamental desire. What is kama? Desire is for happiness. I want happiness. I have a desire for happiness. So now desire for happiness drives us to earn money, because I'll be happy if I get money. With money only I can fulfill my life. Then after some time you realize that, okay, money can fulfill my immediate requirement, but I have a long-term requirement. I have next life, future life. I want to earn some punya. So then punya means, punya will gives me happiness. So I want dharma. So dharma also is driven by kama. Then you find that both dharma and artha can give immediate satisfaction, or satisfaction in the longer run, or happiness in the longer run. But real happiness is moksha or liberation. So you start seeking for moksha. So like that, dharma, kama is the basic fundamental reality. Now, priorities in somebody's life change. Kama is always basic motivation. Somebody can have moksha as priority, somebody can have artha as priority, somebody can have dharma as priority, but underlying reality is always kama, desire. So what is this kama? The desire. I have a sense of limitation. Why do I get a sense of limitation? Already we spoke. I identify the body. That's called Mooladhara Chakra. When you identify the body, there's a sense of limitation. There's an insecurity. I am limited to body. That's why I told is Mooladhara Chakra. So now there's a desire, which is Swadhisthana Chakra. I want to be free from this limitation. Continuously desires will keep rising, Swadhisthana Chakra. So then I want to remove these limitations. I want to change. First you will try to change the circumstances. I want to change this. I want to change this. There was one Zen Sufi saint. He said, when I was young, the Sufi saint said, oh God, when I was young, I wanted to change the world. So I prayed to God, give me the strength to change the world. So then I grew up to the middle age. Then I said, change my wife, change my family, give them some wisdom so that I am peaceful. Now I am old. I realize that I cannot change the world. I cannot change anybody. Give me the wisdom to change myself. Right? So we are trying to change something in life. Finally, we have to realize that the change has to happen within you, inside us. Now, whatever you gain through a change, always there's a loss. So I want to gain happiness through a job. So there is continuously there's a fear of loss of job. Stress is there. The short-term pressure, everything gives a short-term pleasure, but it gives a temporary relief. I have a desire to feel complete. That is not getting fulfilled no matter what I do from the external thing. So then you start seeking for happiness. The purnatva or complete happiness, fullness, cannot be gained through any objects, any car or vehicle or external things. It is only by finding my own self. So that's where you start looking for moksha. Like that, but everywhere the desire is the basic cause. And how did the desire come? The desire comes from because I have a sense of limitation. Adnana. Adnana, avidya causes karma. Avidya causes kama, desire. Kama causes karma. So this is the way our life proceeds. So I have written here in a pictorial form. There's a fear which is caused by avidya. I am the body. And fear leads to kama, the desire. I want something. Okay. Fear leads to desire. Insecurity leads to desire. I want to expand. I want to feel secure. So the desire drives the willpower. Right? I have to do something about it. Ichha Shakti. Now I'll have a question. You have a motivation in life, right? Sometimes you are motivated to do something. Sometimes you are not motivated to do something. Okay. Now, what makes us motivated in life? What brings us the motivation in our life? What is the motivating factor in our life? Sometimes we are lazy. I don't want to do this. Sometimes we will do it very well. Why? Because there are two motivating factors in our life. Only two. What is that? The fear and reward. Suppose if I ask you a question, can you run 10 kilometers at a stretch? You say, no, I can't even run 1 kilometer. 500 meters, that also is difficult. Then I'll take a gun. If you don't run 10 kilometers, I'll shoot you. The moment you stop, I'll shoot you. Then you'll run 50 kilometers, run away because fear. Right? So then I'll say, okay, if you run 10 kilometers, I'll give 10 crore rupees. Wow, 10 crore rupees, then I'll start run. So we have only two motivations in life, fear and desire. Everything, what we do in our life is based on fear and desire. Look at your life. Anything you do is out of fear or desire or more reward. So if you don't have motivation for something, that means there's no enough fear or there's no enough reward. So the willpower is dependent on the fear and desire. The more the fear is, the more willpower, strong willpower. The more the reward is, the strong the willpower. The willpower leads to karma, action. Action leads to karma phala, result. So some results are favorable, some results are unfavorable. And that leads to unfavorable results, lead to vasana, impressions, favorable or unfavorable. Now impressions again go back to desire, they'll get added to that. So again, this cycle continues. This goes on, the cycle goes on. How long it will go on? It will go on forever. How long it will go on? It will go on for many lifetimes. This is called samsara. You keep on taking birth again and again because our desires will never be fulfilled. Desires are like fire. And desires are not fulfilled, they'll become karma and vasana. Again, more desires will come. It's like putting ghee into the fire. Now, all these things, when in fulfilling desires, we do some punya and papa, good karma and bad karma. This good karma and bad karma will go into our bank account called karma bank. Sanchita karma is a big account. All we have done in many lifetimes will go there. Then comes prarabdha karma. Like if you say we have many lifetimes, our bank balance must be very big, karma balance, thousands of crores. So prarabdha karma is a little bit amount we take from in this lifetime and take this body. Out of thousands of crores, we'll just take 1 lakh rupees and take this body to experience that. That's called prarabdha karma. Prarabdha karma, when you start executing prarabdha karma, you do agami karma. You create new karma. That's called future karma. They'll come as a future karma. So there are 3 types of karma: sanchita karma, prarabdha karma, agami karma. This cycle of karma is very long. It goes on forever. It never ends. So I have shown you here how this cycle is created. Any action we do, let's say somebody wants to eat a food. Now he likes the food. It creates a vasana for the food. And this vasana will give rise to desire, kama. I want more food. So karma, kama, vasana, this cycle. So the desire will again create karma. Kama, karma, vasana. Kama, karma, vasana. This cycle we are trapped. We are trapped many, many lifetimes. Not one lifetime. So why this cycle is come? Why we are trapped in this cycle? Who is trapped in this cycle? The ego, or ego is called jiva. The Manipura chakra is the center from which ego operates. Ego is identification. Ego is called jiva. Okay. Ego has a I sense, I. When I wake up in the morning, I have a sense of I am an individual. That's called I sense, is called ahankara. So then there is a sense of abhimana, ownership. This belongs to me, this belongs to me, this belongs to me. I own this. So I own everything. The ego starts owning everything. What it owns? It starts owning. It is like ego is not a real entity. It is just an imaginary entity. It becomes owner of all our actions, all our desires, karma, kama and karma. So that's where it develops sense of kartaham, I am the doer. Bhoktaham, I am the enjoyer. I am the gnataham, I am the knower. So this is called abhimana, sense of ownership. So what is this ownership? For example, let us say I lift your right hand, and when you lift your right hand, who has lifted your right hand? Just lift your right hand and then see, ask yourself question, who has lifted your right hand? You say, I lifted the right hand. This I, who is this I? Do you know how much blood has to go into the right hand? Do you know how many signals have to operate from the brain? Do you know how much oxygen has to be breathed in? So this I doesn't know anything, but still it claims I did it. It only claims ownership. The ahankara is the ownership. Now, who lifted your right hand? Please tell me. Because so much of calculation has to go into the lifting the right hand. The brain has to calculate. The breathing has to happen. The blood has to circulate. There is an intelligence which is there. The intelligence is the consciousness, chaitanyam. But ego claims all the actions done by the body. That's why kartaham. Then I am the enjoyer. So when happiness is there, I am happy. When unhappiness is there, I am unhappy. So all this ownership is done by the ego. So for understanding ego, we can give an example of a fan and electricity. The fan rotates. So has the fan ability to rotate? Fan can rotate only if there is electricity. Without electricity, fan cannot rotate. Does electricity rotate? Electricity doesn't rotate. Electricity doesn't give blow air. The fan doesn't have the ability to rotate. So electricity plus fan operates. Without electricity, fan cannot operate. Fan is dead. Electricity cannot give air. So this electricity plus fan plus electricity is equal to Jiva plus Atma. Atma is like electricity. Jiva is like a fan, instrument. Jiva is like an instrument. Atma is like electricity. Okay. So without electricity, the fan cannot operate. Without Atma, Jiva cannot function. So that's why we always call this Jiva as Jivatma. Jiva plus Atma. Atma does not do anything like electricity. Atma doesn't operate, doesn't do anything like, it is like electricity. Okay. But Jiva does not know there is Atma. Jiva has forgotten I am Atma. So Jivatma is really your Jivatma. So you start thinking I am the Jiva. The Jiva identifies with the body and mind. It's like fan saying very happily, I am only giving air. I am only doing something. Fan says, I blow air. I make people happy. The fan cannot operate without electricity. That fan does not know. Like that Jiva does not know. Atma is making my brain work. My Atma, because of presence of my Atma, brain is working. My breath is happening. My body is functioning. The consciousness is responsible for all of this. The Jiva does not know. So now who are you? Are you Jiva? Are you Atma? Are you Jivatma? We are a combination of Jiva plus Atma. That's called Jivatma. Okay. We have forgotten that we are Jivatma. We start living as Jiva. Jiva is the ego. Ego keeps on owning. It's like electricity is responsible for fan to rotate. But the ego says, I only rotated the fan. I only gave the air. The claiming is done by the ego, Jiva. Jiva is just an instrument. So Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Prakritehe Kriyamanani Gunai Karmani Sarvasha Ahankara Vimudatma Kartahamiti Manyate. The Prakriti or the nature is the doer. Sattva guna, Rajo guna, Tamo guna in the nature is responsible for all the actions. The gunas get activated in the presence of Atma, Chaitanya. The consciousness activates the guna. Sattva guna, Rajo guna, Tamo guna. You can imagine 3 wings of the fan as Sattva guna, Rajo guna, Tamo guna. So these 3 gunas are responsible for all actions. The knowing, ability to know is Sattva guna. Ability to move is Rajo guna. Okay. Not doing anything, rest is called Tamo guna. So these gunas are activated by Paramatma, the Atma. Okay, but ego thinks I am the doer. It takes the ownership. So we have to become free from this concept of ownership, wrong concept of ownership. How do you become free from concept of ownership? There are 3 types of karmas: sattvic karma, rajasic karma, tamasic karma. Tamasic karma is laziness. Laziness, hurting others, ignorance, all are tamasic karma. So tamasic karma will not elevate you. So you lie on your bed, whatever happens, happens. That will not take you anywhere. Tamasic karma, Rajasic karma, Sattvic karma, examples are Vibhishana, Ravana, and Kumbhakarna. Kumbhakarna is lazy. He keeps on eating and sleeping. Tamasic karma we should drop. We should become active. We should do Rajasic karma. Rajasic karma is anything which will make us successful in life. I have to work hard to earn money. Do something. Don't be lazy. That's why Swami Vivekananda said, for Indians, play football. Okay. So don't be dull and inert. Act. Act for survival. Act for earning money. Do whatever is that. So that brings the Rajasic karma. Now Rajasic karma, you continue, but you find that Rajasic karma does not give you full satisfaction. Whatever you do, there's a limitation. Anything you do, the karma, you do for the sake of happiness. But happiness is always accompanied by unhappiness. All our happiness is conditional. So then you say, I want to find happiness in myself. Then you should do Sattvic karma. What is Sattvic karma? We start doing karma yoga as selfless service. From karma to karma yoga. What is this karma yoga? All actions have to be offered to Ishvara and accept results as blessing of Ishvara. If you are able to do that, then you are moved into karma yoga. We have to understand, to do karma yoga, we need Ishvara. We have to understand Ishvara. Who is Ishvara? The totality of functioning of the universe is Ishvara. Everything in the universe is working perfectly. The sun rises and sets. Sun will not fall on our head one day. The moon is functioning. The earth is functioning. The wind, the fire, the water, the 5 elements. Everything is functioning in order. Pakka. A perfect order. There's an order in the universe. Such big galaxy is functioning properly. Now, where is the driver? Who is the controller? That controller is Ishvara. Because of Ishvara's control, everything is working perfectly. The seasons, summer, winter, rainy season, everything is working perfectly. So the living beings, plants, animals, human beings, they're all living because of the order in the universe. Then your body is functioning with the order. Your eyes are functioning, the mouth is functioning, the liver is functioning, heart is functioning. So when you eat food, the hand takes the food to the mouth, mouth opens. Then the digestion happens. Everything is functioning. So the total universe is functioning because of Ishvara. You understand? So ego says, I am only doing it. Forgetting Ishvara. The Ishvara is the totality is functioning. The God is functioning. God is the doer, real doer. Ego claims, I am the doer. Tell me, can you lift your hand? You cannot lift your hand. It's the God, the consciousness which makes the hand lift. So then we understand that all that things are done by Ishvara, Bhagavan. I am just an instrument in the hands of Ishvara. Ego, Jiva, is like a fan. Ishvara is like electricity. So I am just an instrument in the hands of Ishvara. The seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, sensing, everything is because of Ishvara, Bhagavan. So then your surrender is natural. You understand Ishvara, then your surrender is natural. Understand? So if you don't understand Ishvara, then you start feeling, I am only doing. So, and then you start doing something. Kama leads to karma. So then you get a result, you feel happy. You don't get a result, you feel unhappy. and somebody else gets it. Somebody else becomes successful. You feel jealous. Oh, that person has become jealous. You become jealous of the person. Kama leads to matsarya. No, I wanted to get something, I didn't get it. Then krodha, anger. Kama leads to krodha, anger. Kama leads to matsarya, jealousy. Kama, krodha, mada. Oh, I only got it. Mada. Moha, I will hold on to it. Lobha, I want more of it. So kama leads to kama, krodha, mada, matsara, moha, lobha. All children will come. All and everything will cause you disturbance in the mind. So the moment you understand everything is done by Ishvara, if I do something, the result is given by Ishvara. So I want to have the result. Who is that I? So if I throw this, if I throw something, if I drop something, the moment I drop something, it will fall. Say I drop this paper, it will fall. Right? Now, falling is because of gravity. The gravity force is designed by Ishvara. I cannot control gravity. There's no control over gravity. Understand? So similarly, that's why I can do karma, but karma phala I cannot control. So gravity we understand. If I drop some fruit, it will fall. But what we don't understand is I do something in life, but desired result will not come. Why? The karma phala is given by Ishvara. We forgot that. Within I only I'll get, I'll have to get. So karma phala is given by Ishvara based on your papa and punya. If you have good punya, good result will come, favorable result will come. If you have papa, pending papa, unfavorable result will come. Papa and punya, Ishvara gives the result. That result comes from Ishvara. So that's why surrender to Ishvara. Whatever comes in my life is your grace. So if you have that understanding, that's called karma yoga. Then I have the ability to do. Karmanye vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. You have the right to do, ability to do. So I can lift my hand. But am I the doer? The Ishvara enables the Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna, Tamo Guna through me. The Bhagavan is the doer. I am just an instrument. So if that attitude is there, I am just an instrument. It's like fan saying, I cannot blow air. Electricity is the Bhagavan. Because of electricity, air is coming. I am just an instrument. If you understand that, you are fine. So similarly, all actions are done through me. Ishvara is the doer. If you understand that, you are fine. Okay. Then results are also coming from Bhagavan because the results are also designed as per a certain law. So when everywhere there is some law, the gravitational force, the sunrise, sunset, everything is law. The result also is based on certain law. It's called karma phala. So good karma will bring you good karma phala. Bad karma will give you negative result. If you don't understand that, people will get into depression. The kama, krodha, mada, matsara, moha, lobha is because we don't understand, we don't surrender to Ishvara. So kama, the desire, leads to karma, right? If you get the result according to your wish, karma phala, so you will be thankful to Ishvara. Oh Bhagavan, you gave me good result because of good punya. If you don't get good result, favorable result, you'll say, Bhagavan, I would have done a bad karma. Both are gift. Then your mind will be peaceful. So then you didn't get it. Somebody else got it. Earlier you would have felt jealousy. Matsarya. Okay. He got it. I didn't get it. Now you'll say you are thankful to Ishvara. Bhagavan, because he has done some good punya, you give the result to him. Okay. I didn't get it because of some bad karma. So you will not feel disturbed. Krodha doesn't come, anger doesn't come because you understand it's Ishvara's grace. Matsarya, jealousy, you'll feel that person has got it. Now you understand, oh, that person has done good punya. Oh, Bhagavan, make me your instrument to do some good punya. Like that, jealousy will go. Krodha will go, Matsarya will go, jealousy will go. Moha, I want more. Moha, attachment. So you understand, everything in your life is given by Bhagavan. Your body doesn't belong to you. It is given to you at birth. It will be taken back. So there is nothing called mine. Everything belongs to Ishvara. When there is an attachment, where is the attachment? Moha is gone. Lobha, I want more. If you understand Ishvara, Bhagavan knows exactly how much you have to give. You will not have lobha. Do you know how much Ishvara has to give? Do you know how accurate he is? When your food has to be digested, only 5 milligrams of acid has to be released. 5 milligram. I'm just giving an example. 5 milligram. If it is more, stomach will burn. If it is less, the food will not be digested. The 5 milligram accurate measurement is done and given. When you have to be happy, 2 milligrams of dopamine has to be released. 2 milligrams. You'll see how much a small milligram is. So that much accuracy Ishvara knows. When you have to see through your eyes, your eye instrument has to move. How many muscles are there in the eyes? You don't know. So all actions are done by Ishvara. So if you understand Ishvara knows what to give to me, then you will not have lobha. So when kama, krodha, mada, matsara, moha, lobha will get dropped when you start practicing karma yoga. What is karma yoga? Everything what I do is a service to Ishvara. Ishvara is in the form of human beings, in the form of animals, in the form of guru. I'll see God and I'll do service. And what result has to come will come from Ishvara. I will not dictate to Bhagavan, because Bhagavan knows if you have that attitude, there is peace in your life. Your disturbance, there's no peace in your life because you don't understand Ishvara. You are thinking of you're only doing your thing. So what is the result of karma yoga? Atma Dnana, self-knowledge. It helps mind becomes calm, peaceful for Atma Dnana. Shama, Dama, Titiksha, Uparati, Shraddha, Samadhana will naturally develop if you do karma yoga. The vasanas will get neutralized. The vasanas which will hold you. There is anxiety goes. What happened to me? What happened to me? You know, Bhagavan knows. Ishvara. So then our tamasi karma, which causes harm, will drop. How we should live our life? We should live our life as an instrument of God. We are thinking that I am the master. When I say we, the Jiva should know I am the instrument of Atma. Atma is the master. So if we live our life that, our mind will be peaceful. That living our life like that is called karma yoga. Are we living like that, life like that? Who is the master? Atma is the master or Jiva is the master? Understand, Atma is the master. I'm just a servant. The Jiva is the ego. Ego is the doer, enjoyer. But Atma is the master. Kartaham, Bhoktaham. All are done because of grace of Ishvara, Bhagavan, the totality. So we have heard Manipura Chakra. Manipura Chakra is the Manipura. Pura is the body. The jewel in the body is Jiva. Without Jiva, there is no body which is functional. Okay, the body functions because of Jiva. That's why it's jewel. But Jiva functions because of Atma. Jiva is like a fan. Atma is like electricity. Now the whole problem in our life is I am the doer, kartaham, I am the enjoyer, bhoktaham, I am the knower, gnataham. This concept, Jiva lives with this concept. It's like fan saying, I am blowing the electricity, I am blowing the air, I am making people happy. Fan doesn't know electricity. Jiva has to know Atma. Without Atma, I am nobody. In fact, Jiva is nobody without the Atma. And all functioning is done by Ishvara, Bhagavan. So if you understand this, karma will become karma yoga. Other will become karma roga. So Manipura chakra gets blocked. People say Manipura chakra is blocked, energy is blocked. They don't understand. They keep on speaking of energy is blocked in Manipura chakra. Energy in blocked in Manipura chakra is because we have a doership and enjoyership, karma yoga, karma roga. How do you get rid of karma yoga? By karma yoga. And karma, sanchita karma, prarabdha karma, agami karma, three karmas will get burnt with jnanagni dagdha karmani. Atma jnana will burn sanchita karma, prarabdha karma, agami karma. How will it burn sanchita karma? Sanchita karma gets burnt because I have a doership. I only did it. It's like fan saying, I only gave air. So that's a wrong understanding. Then Bhagavan says, okay, you take the karma phala also. You only did it, you take the phala also. So that karma phala gets accumulated over many, many lifetimes. Once you understand, I'm just an instrument in the hands of Bhagavan, that sanchita karma gets burnt. Then prarabdha karma is what body is experiencing. The body is born because of prarabdha karma. Then you will understand, I'm not the body. The ownership is not correct. Ownership is wrong. There's nothing, there is no ownership. Only ownership is Ishvara. All belongs to Ishvara. Then ownership is gone. Then when ownership is gone, prarabdha karma is gone. Then there's no sense of doership because all actions you are doing as a service and offering to Ishvara. Then kriyamana will not lead to agami, future action. Vasanas will get dropped. Entire purification happens. So the Manipura chakra is about action. Anybody has a question?
Prabhuji?
Okay, Gayatri, what is the question? Jiva is it? No. See, the question here is fan plus electricity example. Jiva is an instrument. But earlier said Jiva is the ego, which uses the instrument. No. See, the Jiva is the ego. Okay. Jiva identifies the body and mind and says, I am the doer. Jiva is actually instrument of Chaitanyam, consciousness. But Jiva identifies the body and says, I am the doer, I am the enjoyer. So now here Jiva is equated to fan. Okay, fan has three wings. Using three wings are equal to body, the three bodies. Annamaya Kosha, what is this? Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, Karana Sharira. So there is a notional entity, imaginary entity called Jiva comes into picture, which says, I am the doer, I am the enjoyer, I am the knower. So this Jiva is really cannot function without Chaitanyam. So what is the question? Anybody else has any question? Yes, Namit.
Prabhuji, you told Jiva and Atma, Jiva plus Atma. Won't it be like we are saying human being, we are mixing truth and untruth, because Jiva and Jiva there's doership and
yeah. No, you are right. Okay. Human and being is a truth. Human is unreal. Okay. That unreal being human will continue as long as prarabdha karma is there, as long as jnana is there. That's why till jnana is there, we are saying both.
Okay, Prabhuji, understood.
Right?
Yeah, Prabhuji, then what is willpower?
Willpower is, okay, something you do very happily, right, in your life?
Yeah.
And something you don't, you feel lazy, correct?
Yeah.
I want to do, I will do. So there is a power.
Okay.
which makes you move.
Okay.
Power is called willpower.
Like a desire.
No, desire creates a movement. No, desire is there, but the desire has to make you move. No.
Yeah.
So I want to get an IIT rank, but if I don't study, what will happen? Nothing will happen.
Yeah.
Studying to happen, you have to move. That movement is called willpower.
Okay. Prabhuji, my last question. What is Lobha?
Yoga means
Lobha.
lobha.
Yeah.
Lobha means I want more. I want more. Greed.
Okay, fine.
So the greed is there when you don't understand that God is the giver. Ishvara is the giver. We don't understand. When you don't understand that there is a greed.
Okay. Prabhuji, you told in desire there is also ajnana. So the desire for God, is it avidya?
Desire is coming from adnana, which is avidya, ignorance.
Okay, then Prabhuji, if we have desire for God, or is it?
No, desire for God is not avidya.
Okay.
Desire for God is to remove avidya. See, somebody is not, patient is not well. He is eating a lot of sugar. Okay. So he wants to go to doctor and become all right. That is not wrong. But eating sugar is the problem.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Desire for God is the right desire. There's nothing wrong in that.
Okay.
Right? So anybody else has any questions?
Pranam Gurudeva.
Yes, Sheetal.
Gurudeva, Karma Yoga happens beautifully and perfectly when there is Dasya Bhava. I felt like that. How is this understanding?
The Dasya Bhava means I am the instrument of God.
Yes, this Karma Yoga
That's right.
happens perfectly fine in Dasya Bhava of
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you say I am the, see, here Dasya Bhava means when you say I am the body, I am the mind, I am the intellect. So the body, mind, intellect is the servant of God.
Yes.
Right? So that's called Dasya Bhava. That's perfectly all right. That's a perfect how, that's how it starts, how it's done. Right?
Yes.
Anybody else? Any question? Yes?
Yeah, you said this karma phala, you get a favorable result or an unfavorable result, and that result is karma phala. So that depends on if you have done good karma, you get a favorable result, and if you have done bad karma, it is unfavorable result. So I feel I should understand it like good karma and bad karma both get accumulated only when there is a feeling of doership. So in case there is no doership, if I feel everything is for Ishvara, done by Ishvara, then there is no question of good karma or bad karma.
See, this good karma, bad karma, the concept of good karma will come and bad karma will come once you label it.
Once you?
Once you labeling it. So for example, I want to go out in the morning. Okay. When I go out in the morning, it's a very heavy rain. The person will say it's a very bad day. The day is not bad. Only my mind is saying it's bad day. Okay, my mind impression is saying bad day. The day is like that only. There will be some day sunshine, some day rain is there. Similarly, every event happening in our life is neutral in that sense. There's no good or bad in that. But people in their ignorance, they label something as good. Oh, it's favorable to me. I am lucky. So I'm unlucky. I'm unfavorable. Like that, they label. The events are by themselves are neutral. Now, if you understand the events by themselves are neutral, I am labeling it. Then you just you are surrendered. So for you to understand any event happening in you, in your life, a small event, for example, let's say you got food today. You prepared food today. A small event, you did a breakfast. Now this small event requires the entire universe to participate. It's Ishvara. The food has to be prepared. The farmer has to make the food. It has to come from the sunrise, sunset, sun has to give shining. So actually a food which is given to you is Ishvara. So if you understand that, you will take the food as a prasadam. Okay, then there's no labeling. Everything is Ishvara. The labeling is gone. Good or bad is gone. Good karma, bad karma is gone. That's why I'm saying karma will go. But that labeling is happening. As long as labeling is there, then you have to have a concept of good karma and bad karma. Right? So then there is a judgment. Oh, today the food is spoiled. The food is not okay. So everything is Ishvara. I'll do my best. As an instrument, I'll do my best. But results are controlled by the totality, Ishvara, God. Then you are fine. The moment you forget Ishvara, please understand, if you have suffering in your life, if you have anger in your life, if you have fear in your life, if you have jealousy in your life, if you have hatred in life, you have not surrendered to Ishvara. You have not understood Ishvara. You may do some 100 times puja, 10,000 times mantra japa, but you are not surrendered. The moment you surrender, the moment you understand that totality is functioning through me, you don't do any puja, any mantra, you are still peaceful. You understand? A person may be doing a lot of puja, but if he is afraid in his life that he has not understood Ishvara, he has not surrendered. He may say, I have surrendered to Bhagavan, but he has not surrendered because the fear is there. The moment you surrender, the fear goes. The moment you surrender, jealousy goes. The moment you surrender, anxiety goes. Because everything is Ishvara, Bhagavan. It is like my mother. Okay, the child knows. Child is seeing something, my mother will take care. My food, mother will give. So everything, mother, it trusts on the mother. Trust Ishvara, your life will be smooth. Trust Ishvara and live your life as an instrument of God. That's all. This is actually secret of Shat Sampati. I kept on saying Shat Sampati is required. Shama, Dama, Titiksha, Uparati, Shraddha, Samadhana, Mumukshutva. How do I get Shraddha Samadhi? Surrender to Ishvara. Finished. Matter is over. Shat Sampati will come automatically. Any questions?
Yes, Prabhuji, this one example of you saying that whenever there is something, a child goes back to the mother. So
yeah,
this is exactly, I mean, a very good thing to apply. That whenever there is something, then immediately it strikes that I am not the doer. It is the Ishvara doing everything. And
right. You can just ask yourself, have I surrendered to Ishvara or not? In your life, if there are worries in your life, you are not surrendered. You are not even understood Ishvara. If you understood Ishvara, mere baap, my father will take care. Job. I'll tell you how we have to live our life, okay? We have to live our life like a daily wage worker. You know what daily wage worker does? Every day morning he gets up and he goes to the mestri. The Sahab, aaj kuch kaam hai. Is there any work today? The mestri will say, do this work. He will do the work properly. And evening he will get a salary. He doesn't ask, Mestri ji, tomorrow will you give me work? Don't know. That depends tomorrow, not today only. Okay. Mestri ji, after 6 months will you give me work? That Mestri has to say, you don't have any control. Ishvara is like our Mestri. Work we have to do is, today what work I can do well. Okay. Tomorrow I don't know. Tomorrow Mestri will tell me what to do. Day after tomorrow, what Mestri will tell me what to do. Today, I have to servant. Live your life today properly. God gives you, Mestri gives you salary. Bhagavan gives you 24 hours. Just 24 hours is given to you. So, at the end of 24 hours, or when you go to sleep, are you able to tell the God, who is the Mestri, Bhagavan, I have done my job properly. You are giving me 24 hours. Out of that, 16 hours I used properly. Have I used my life for 16 hours? Atmano mokshartam jagaditaya as your service properly. That's all you have to report that day. And there's no guarantee that tomorrow morning we'll get up. There's no guarantee that anybody will get up once they sleep. They get up in the morning. There's no guarantee. That's Mestri's responsibility. What will happen day after tomorrow? What will be after 6 months? Mestri knows. God knows. Do your job. Find out what is your job and what is God's job. Your job is today. God's job is every day. So otherwise we'll live in anxiety. What will happen after 6 months? You do this, after 6 months, what will happen? Oh, all those things we'll do. No. What will happen after 6 months? The Mestri will know. You are just a daily wage worker, and for daily wage, you get 24 hours, 1 day. That's all, salary. Any questions?
And Prabhuji, this three gunas, this motivation to do or not to do, both are Ichcha Shakti, right? Motivation to do something and not to do something is also Ichcha Shakti. Then is it considered that Tamo guna is wrong? Even the motivation not to do, why is it wrong? Why is only Rajas and Sattva?
No. See, if the motivation, if you don't do something, okay, you will not evolve. Seed kept in the cupboard will not become a plant and tree. For the seed has to be put in the ground and it has to sprout. Okay, fertilizer is required, water is required. Already God has given you the family, the environment, the world for you to sprout as a seed and a plant. So if you don't do that, you are actually lazy. Okay, why laziness comes? People are not lazy by themselves. The laziness comes because of ignorance, adnana. They don't know what to do. Okay, wrong understanding. But the laziness will not help you. That's the meaning of tamoguna. You will evolve with rajoguna because you will find out what doesn't work in the life world. So rajoguna will say, I will become successful if I get a job. I will become successful if I get a marriage. I will become successful if I get children, a car. Then you will understand the limitation of that. At least to understand limitation, rajoguna is required. Tamoguna person doesn't even understand limitation. So doesn't evolve. Then after you understand limitation, you will go into sattva-guna. Okay, let me understand myself. Dana. Like that will happen.
So motivation not to do something is sattva guna only, because it comes through.
No. Motivation not to do something is not sattva-guna. Not to do something is tamoguna.
If it comes through an understanding that this should not be done.
No, sattva-guna doesn't ignore anything, doesn't give importance to anything. Sattva-guna is understanding with clarity what gives good result. Then you will focus on the right thing. Rajoguna focus on 10,000 things.
Okay.
Rajoguna has no priority. It doesn't no clarity. All confused. So first he'll say, if I get a car, I'll be successful. Then next moment he'll say, no, I will get a bigger car. Next moment he'll say, I'll get a promotion. He is totally confused person. So he will try after 10,000 things. Sattva-guna is very focused. He knows exactly what to do. And then he will prioritize. He doesn't drop everything. He will prioritize. Okay, this is required. This is not required. This I'll give first priority. This will give. So the clear priority will emerge in sattva-guna. It's not that he'll drop blindly. Okay, sattva-guna says, I have to focus on meditation, atma-dana. But I have to take care of my family. This much earning I have to do. He'll do it. Then he'll say, how much spare time I have to spend. Now, where a Rajoguna fellow, he doesn't understand he has to spend meditation or atma-dana. He'll say, oh, now another 3 hours is there. Let me earn one more car. He'll buy second car or he'll buy third car also. He doesn't understand the value of time. Understand? So, anybody else has any questions?
Prabhuji?
Yes? Yes, Namit?
Prabhuji, what are the 6 Sat Sampattis? You had told in one Drig Drishya Viveka video, but you had only told what is Dhamma.
No, you are doing
So what?
you are studying Tattva Bodha, right?
Yeah, before that I thought
Tattva Bodha will come.
we were studying. Okay, fine.
In Tattva Bodha it will come in the future.
Okay.
Okay, study that.
Okay, Prabhuji. I never read that. That's why we are now in Tattva